You are listening to the Overcome Pornography for Good podcast, episode 267. Welcome to the Overcome Pornography for Good podcast, where we take a research-based, trauma-informed, and results-focused approach to quitting porn. This approach has been revolutionary and changed thousands and thousands of lives. I'm your host, Sarah Brewer. Hey everyone, welcome to Overcome Pornography for Good. In today's episode, I'm revisiting a topic that I believe will offer you so many insights, some amazing takeaways, no matter where you are in your journey. I hope you find it as impactful as when it first aired. It's always an amazing thing to revisit some of these topics that we need to hear multiple times. Or if you haven't heard it before, I'm excited for you to hear this. So welcome and let's dive in. Okay, you guys, I want to introduce you to Cannon. Cannon, thank you so much for being on today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us about you?
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Cannon Goslin. I'm 23 years old. I've been in the program for probably 8 or 9 months now. And it's honestly been one of the best decisions that I've ever made for sure. I think when I first started the program, I did have a problem with pornography as well, but I think my biggest problem was just a lot of self-hatred, and I would buffer all the time. Mm-hmm. And pornography, for me, it was just another one of those buffering activities. But there were like video games. I played a lot of video games. I ate a lot of really unhealthy food, and I would just constantly do these things, and I would just keep doing them, and I'd feel worse. And I was just kind of stuck in that vicious cycle. And so I joined the program. I kind of talked with my mom about it. We discussed the price and everything and decided that it was worth the investment. And actually, initially, my story starts with this program about 2.5 years ago. And I just got off of my mission. I remember that I did a little bit of a thing with Sarah. I don't even know if you remember it, but it was like a special deal on the program or something. And I decided not to do it at that point. Yeah, I didn't think you remember that, but I decided not to do it then. And I was like right off the mission, and I didn't really feel like I was worthy, honestly. So I would definitely encourage everyone listening today to just take that step now, because I wish that I'd done it earlier. I feel like I could have made so much more progress. Now, that being said, I'm glad that I did it now. And I think, as I was going through the program and just kind of trying to figure out really what it meant for me, I feel like the biggest thing that I learned was that, like, it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to struggle. And that was a really new idea for me for a long time, is because I felt like I was so much farther than where I should have been. And I just kind of kept staying in that place. Once I really accepted that, like, you're not there right now, man, and that's okay, I feel like that's when I was able to really make progress. And over the past 8 or 9 months, I feel like I've been able to make so much progress because, I started with kind of that mindset of you're not there yet, but that's okay. And, really, I think the biggest thing for me was transitioning from self-hatred to self-love. And that took about 6 months. Like, it wasn't an overnight thing. It took a long time. And sometimes it does take a long time. I remember when we were first talking and I was like, okay, like, how long is it going to take to quit porn? And I kind of couldn't get like an exact answer, because there's not an exact answer. Everybody's different. And, I'm happy to say that for the most part, I am actually pornography free now, but that did take quite a while in my case. But
I love it. Thank you. That's something a lot of people come there like, okay, but how long is this going to take me? And I think that's one of the first things I talk about in the program is I'm like, hey, I know you are so excited to get rid of this, but if you drop your timeline, you'll actually make quicker progress.
No, for sure. And I struggled for like 8 or 9 years, and I honestly wasn't really getting any closer, and to be almost completely free of it in less than a year is way faster than
that's amazing.
For sure.
That's amazing. So tell me a little bit about that. Like, what specifics? Well, I mean, you've already talked about specific ways that you've seen yourself change, but what were some of those big breakthroughs that did finally, you've been working on it 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen overnight, but geez, that's pretty I mean, a year. It's pretty
Yeah.
great. Just under a year. That's pretty great. What were some of those significant breakthroughs?
I think for me, like the most significant breakthrough, honestly, was just the way that I treated myself and the way that I was able to like start to treat other people, like especially like my mom, because, we'd kind of gone back and forth a little bit and I wasn't as good of a person as I should have been at the time. When we kind of decided for me to do this, obviously she was aware of, my pornography habit and everything like that. And she was really supportive of me. She's like, look, dude, I just kind of want you to get over it and whatever you got to do, man, like we'll get after it. So, but I think as, really actually pretty quick into the program, probably like a month and a half, we were actually walking, we were on vacation one day and we were like walking on the beach together or something. And she told me, she's like, you're different. Like you're way different already. And I know that you haven't quit porn yet, but you're just already so much happier. And I was like, Mom, I really am. And it was just so cool to see even that turnaround, like being so fast. And I've had many experiences like that over the past 8 or 9 months where it's just little things that I realized like, wow, like this really does work. This change really is possible. And not only is it possible, it's happening. And I would really love to see that. And honestly, for me, like that's probably been the biggest reward of the program because it really wasn't about quitting porn for me. And I know you say that all the time, like pornography is just a buffer. That's it. But it became about so much more. It became about being the man that I always wanted to be and the person that I didn't think I could be until this year. And now like I finally am starting to be that person. And it's super cool to see.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. Thank you for saying that. What a great example. I love how you said, not only is it possible, but it's happening. Oh,
exactly. Yeah.
For those of you who are stuck there in this, maybe it's possible state. What if we change that to no, it's happening. It's happening right now. It's happening today. Everything I'm doing is creating a porn-free life and it's happening today. It's happening right now. And that doesn't mean it's overnight.
No.
But it means it's all working. It's all working.
Definitely.
Tell me a little bit about this person that you've wanted to be and how this is about so much more than quitting porn. What does that mean to you? Who have you become? What have you been able to do?
Well, I think that, like I said, probably the single biggest thing that I'm the most proud of was transitioning from that self-hate to that self-love. And I actually did that using something that you talk about, where you talk about like the model. So I use that a lot. And then I also use like bridge thoughts a lot. So like I didn't start because you can't really go from like you say, like I love my body or I hate my body to I love my body. Yeah, that's not going to probably happen. And it probably doesn't feel super genuine if you just try and switch it like that. So for me, starting from like I hate myself, and I really did. I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of self-doubt and I had a lot of self-esteem issues and things like that. And I would find evidence for that everywhere in my life. But once I kind of transitioned from, I just don't like myself, and that felt more genuine. And then I kind of just kept going from, okay, I don't like myself to like, I'm okay. Like I'm pretty good to like, I'm awesome. And like really meaning that. And it did take a while, like I said, it took about 6 months. But as I was doing that, I noticed other areas of my life. I started to feel more confident. I started to feel like I could do better in other areas. I started to have a healthier body. I started to make healthier life choices. I started to be nicer to people too. I started to feel like I could do more in a career, in a profession. I ended up switching my major from communications and just kind of not really knowing what I wanted to do in school. So now I'm a pre-dental student. I want to become a dentist and just kind of working on that. And so it really was just like that one thing affected everything else in my life where I felt like I was able to be nicer to people, be nicer to myself, and then just have higher goals, not be just satisfied with where I'm at, but really want to be successful and want to be great. And that's something that I've always wanted, but I really wasn't sure if it was realistic or if it was really possible. And then once I kind of established that mindset of, like you said, it's not just possible, it's happening. And I started to see that, and I started to have that lens. Then I saw all the ways that I was making those good decisions and that it was happening for me. And then that just kind of became that snowball effect where more and more and more good things started happening.
Yeah, I love it. Again, such a great example of what I mean when I say this is about so much more than quitting porn. It reminds me, so Kat, who is a coach in the program and has some private clients, we were meeting this week and she said, well, I have a client and he's been doing amazing and hasn't looked at porn. And now I'm like, well, what do I do with him? And we're like, that's amazing. Now you show him what else he can do with his life. And you coach him and you help him do whatever else it is. He thought he'd join the program to quit porn, but he's getting like 30 times more than that because now he's creating this dream life. It's such a cool thing. And remind me, did you do, because you're talking about how it took a while to really embody this. And that's a challenge I think a lot of podcast listeners come up with is they're like, okay, I understand what you're saying.
Sure.
But like, okay, but I still hate myself, I still have a lot of self-loathing.
Yeah.
And so talk to me a little bit about how you were able to overcome that and remind me, did you do a little bit of private coaching with Tina?
Yeah. So I did about like 5 or 6 months of private coaching. So I've loved like all parts of your program. Obviously, I have the program. I still use it pretty much every day just because there's so much good stuff in there. And at this point in my life, it's pretty much just like an identity thing. It's like, I'm a member of the program. I use it constantly and it helps me get where I want to go.
Cool.
And it's not really just about pornography anymore. But yeah, private coaching is great. It's a super great tool to kind of get more of that one-on-one experience because I also listen to the podcast a lot. So I'm an avid podcast listener. I've listened to almost every single episode and the podcast is great. It is a great place to learn. But as far as that application goes, like you were talking about, I feel like you can get a lot more of that in the program, especially with private coaching, because it really is that one-on-one connection and someone is there to kind of see those things that maybe you can't quite catch on your own. And I did learn a lot from Tina and I'm super grateful that I had that opportunity. And, honestly, I'm open to doing it again at some point. I don't feel like I need it right now, but when there's some other big life change in my life, I'm totally open to going back and doing it again because I know how beneficial it is.
Yeah, very cool. I love what you say too. Sometimes like a coach can just help you see things that you can't. I mean, even myself, I've been doing this for a long time and I know it really well.
Yeah.
But I still will go and get coached because they'll see things that I can't see. Like a belief that I have that I think is just a fact.
Of course.
Not really a fact, but I need someone to point that out to me.
Oh yeah. And that is huge. That was a big change for me because I really did have kind of those facts like, oh, struggle with porn and that's just how it is. And I think private coaching especially really kind of helped me challenge a lot of those views. Honestly, she challenged me on a lot of those views, but it helped me grow a lot.
Yeah, especially with something big where you're feeling so much self-loathing and a lot of self-hatred. That's something that like you need to work through and pull apart and keep pulling apart and talk about and address and go through it. It's, work.
No, it takes some humility. You really have to be willing to be wrong about the fact that you're not that great. You have to be willing to be wrong about that.
You're not that great. Wait, Canada. Now we're talking about how you are great.
Yeah, you have to be willing to be wrong about the fact that you're not that great and that maybe you are as good as you think.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because, when I'm coaching people, they have a really strong argument for themselves for like why they suck.
Yeah. No.
And I get it, right? I totally get it. I think we've all been there. But they're like, no, like you don't know me. And I have all of these reasons for why I suck. And like, are you willing to be wrong about that and be a little, I love how you put that. You have to be humble to maybe, so it's such a great way to think of it. Like humble to think that you don't suck.
Yeah, like what if you are? that good, man.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah. Yeah. What if you are capable of what you want? I love it. Okay, so tell me, how has your life, your relationships, your impact grown as a result of this work?
Oh man, I don't even know if I could. I feel like I could be here all day trying to say that. I think the biggest thing, if I had to put it down to like one thing, I say I feel like more confident, you know?
Mm,
I would say that I feel more confident in just who I am. And I feel like that shows in everything that I do.
mhm,
I feel like, like with school, for example, I didn't really feel like I was a good student for a long time. And so I would have that show up in my life. But once I kind of changed my mindset and felt like I could be more confident and really put on that identity of like, no, like you can be great as long as you put in the time, as long as you put in the work, then I feel like that changes your impact totally because I feel like I'm going into a career now that I never felt like I could do before.
yeah.
And all those people that I'm going to help down the line are a direct result of what I'm doing in this program. So I really feel like it's hard to say just how much this will affect your life because it will affect it way more than you think.
Yeah, I like to think of ripples.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah.
You don't even understand how far the ripples go. That's how I like to think about, my podcast, for example. Like, yeah, it's affecting all the listeners, but then
Hmm.
it affects the people that they're in contact with. And then it affects more people that those people are in contact with. It just ripples and ripples and ripples. So truly, when we heal ourselves, we really do heal the world too.
100%. Yeah.
Awesome. And what do you think is possible for you now as a result of you being able to quit porn?
I got one word for you.
Okay.
Anything. Anything is possible.
Anything.
Anything.
I love it. Because did you think quitting porn was possible or did you feel pretty hopeless about it?
I mean, I guess I thought it was possible in the sense of like other people would do it.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd hear stories and I'd be like, oh, I don't know how he did that, but I guess.
Yeah.
But as far as for me, not really. I would say definitely at least not for years and years and years of struggle. And, I would definitely encourage anyone that is feeling like it's impossible that first step really does come down to love and, just being willing to kind of, I actually remember this super vividly. It was right before I was kind of able to quit pornography that I kind of had this view in myself of my mind is just kind of like not being vulnerable. And it was almost like I had a weapon and I was just like using this pornography as the weapon to keep away
Mm.
all the good things that I wanted in my life. And once I was just kind of willing to just drop that weapon of buffering and of pornography and keeping away all this good stuff, it felt really vulnerable. But that's really when I was able to kind of quit and to move on was because, I was in a place where I wasn't holding on to this anymore and I could start moving on and doing the good things that I finally wanted to do. And, I just encourage anyone that's struggling, like, it's okay. You don't have to be there today. You don't have to be there tomorrow. But as you're willing to kind of let go, you'll be able to find that you're able to fill yourself up with the things you've always wanted. And it's a beautiful process. It's painful, but it's beautiful too.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, so good. Interesting how it feels vulnerable to let it go.
100%. Oh yeah. Yeah. You're exposing yourself to new things and
Mm-hmm.
change is difficult,
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Even when it's good change, like even when it's for our highest good.
I'd say especially when it's good change,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I really wanted to be free, and I knew that freedom was expensive, but I also knew that you generally get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like as I was kind of just putting that on and just really being willing to change and having that humility. And obviously, I'm not totally there. Like there are still days that I struggle. There are still days that are hard for me, not just with pornography, but in other things in my life. But as I've kind of really just accepted myself and accepted, honestly, for a big part of me, for a big a big thing for me was my faith and just kind of really accepting God and everything like that. I feel like the change did happen.
Yeah.
And I really like how you say that, like, maybe we're here on earth now to kind of experience pornography and experience these different struggles and doubt and things like that. And I agree 100%, because if I hadn't had the experience that I had with pornography, I don't feel like I'd be as compassionate as I am now. You know, if I hadn't had those doubts, if I hadn't had those difficult moments, and if I don't continue to have those difficult moments, it's hard to be confident, you know, if you've never been challenged.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that question, what is your pain making possible for your life?
100%.
Love
And,
that.
you know, pain makes everything possible, you know, and everybody goes through pain. But I feel like what this program does is it teaches you, you know, like you talk about clean pain. It teaches you how to use your pain in a positive way and how to really become whatever you want to be. And that's what I would encourage people today is, you know, like whatever you want, if you're patient enough, it's possible. And it can honestly happen a lot faster than you think.
Yes. Yes. That seems to be a common theme of these interviews I've been doing is like, be patient. And it's okay if it doesn't happen overnight. But really, with the long, like looking at this long term, in under a year, that's amazing. That's very quick.
It is. It is very quick, long term, and just, you know, be consistent too. I think that was the biggest thing for me when I first started in the program. I was a little scared, you know, like I would start to see the changes and I was like, whoa, this is bad. But as I was just more consistent and really committed to doing it every single day, even if it was uncomfortable for me, because a lot of times it was uncomfortable. That's when I feel like I really started to see that progress.
Yeah, nice. Love it. Thank you so much. Do you have any last insights that you would want people to know, or any last things that we didn't cover that you want to say?
Yeah. First of all, freaking get in the program, guys. The podcast is great, and I know it is a little expensive and stuff, but honestly, like I would pay 10 times for this program what it costs right now. I'm lying to you.
Let me just say that's the goal. That's my goal. Truly, is my goal is to make it 10 times more valuable than what people pay for it. So thank you for saying that. That's cool.
Well, honestly, I think it's worth 100 times what people pay for it. And then just trust the process, you know, like trust yourself, trust Sarah, trust your coaches. They know what they're doing, and be excited, man. Like be excited. You're here. You're changing your life. What better place is there to be? You know, like this is so cool. You're here with other people, similar minded people that are willing to change their life, that are willing to tackle a subject that can be kind of uncomfortable sometimes. And we're all here. We're all getting better together. And I love the group atmosphere that there is. And, you know, just be honest with yourself. Be honest about the things you struggle with, but be honest with yourself about the things you're good at too.
Yes.
And, you know, it'll happen.
Yes.
It'll happen.
Be humble enough to to think good about yourself. Right? Love it. Love it. Okay, great. Cannon, thank you for sharing that with us. I want to invite you to come and listen to my free class, How to Overcome Pornography for Good Without Using Willpower. We talk about how to stop giving into urges without pure willpower or relying on phone filters so that you can actually stop wanting pornography. We talk about how to stop giving up after a few weeks or months. And spoiler alert, the answer isn't have more willpower. And then lastly, we talk about how to make a life without porn easily sustainable and permanent. If you're trying to quit porn, this class is a game changer. So you can go and sign up at sarahbrewer.com/masterclass, and it is totally free.